Today with a little bit of a handicap, and I'll just tell you before we get started. Today's broadcast is definitely a strange one because I cannot hear anybody that is on this broadcast. So that means that I get to talk, I guess, and everybody else gets to listen. I don't know what else to say to you guys. We do have a fairly interesting segment going for today, which I hope all of you will enjoy. The main topic today is on selling without selling. And I know that sounds a little strange, and it will be seemingly a little strange as we go, but I will try to explain it to you in more detail. So just bear with me while I fumble around here and act like I know what I'm doing. That in itself will be an amazing feat. So let's see here. All right. Selling without selling. And now I'm going. Now I've got something moving here. You guys are thinking I'm crazy now, aren't you? I'm talking to myself. uh, you know, that's not the first time that's happened either. So, as we move into this process, I am going to share my screen. And that being said, oh my goodness, I'm hating this, guys. I truly am. But here we go. We're going to get into it, and we're going to talk about sell without selling. And I'm going to share a little PowerPoint with you, and we're going to have a little chit chat here today. So let's get it rolling. So sell without selling is kind of a strange, to say the least, a strange thing to say. How in the world can you sell without selling? Well, quite frankly, a lot of it has to do with relationships. And all of you know that relationships are a big part of anybody's sales activities. Uh, you want to make sure that you have that personal touch. And I call it the AIDA framework. That stands for attention, and I will get into that. It stands for uh, getting involved, but not really. And I will go through the rest of it as we move forward because I don't want to spoil it for everybody, right? So the attention part is pretty easy. We have to get out there and in front of people in order to make things happen. You can't do it sitting behind the computer. You can't do it just by wishing it. You can't do it by sending out a bunch of emails and hoping somebody's going to respond. You can't do it with you can do it with cold calls, I suppose, but for the most part, that is a long and arduous task that nobody seems to enjoy. So, getting attention on your local marketing services, the attention phase is not about focusing on sales. That's not what you want to do first. It is always something that people try to do, especially when they're new to the business. And I know that we've got a lot of veterans on here that don't really have to pay attention to some of this, but yet if they don't, they will end up losing out in the long run. The attention phase isn't on focusing on sales, folks. You are just one of many people. You've got the people around you in the business community. You've got your friends around you. You've got the community itself around you. And you're part of a larger group. You're part of coming together as a group. And when you're doing sales and marketing, you're part of the whole. You don't stand by yourself. You are part of an entire group of people. Uh, so it's all part of getting out there, introducing yourself to the local business owners. Sit down with the people. My goodness, that's touch the flesh, as they used to say, and learn about them, talk to them. Uh, Without doing that, all you're doing is going in and just saying, I've got this special thing for you, and you're just going to love it because it's the newest gadget in town. Sit down and learn about them. Figure out about what they do and what their goals are. That's the only way that you're ever going to make any type of lasting sales and build a strong grassroots, deep-rooted agency for yourself. Asking questions to find out what the struggles are that they're having, asking what they're doing to solve those issues. In many cases, they won't be doing much. They'll have the problems, but they won't know how to solve them. But after all, that's what you're all about. You're the professional. That's where you jump in and use those professional skills. And I would have to not even put this segment on if I didn't say, join the Chamber of Commerce and get yourself connected with other business owners. That in itself, I so often, in talking with people, I so often see them saying, I do not think that will work. Well, where else are you going to find that large pool, that huge pool of prospective customers besides in the Chamber of Commerce? Anywhere from 300 to 500 to 700 to 1,200 people all doing business. Now, you can get into some of the other networking type groups. If you go into a BNI, which I have nothing against BNI, even though sometimes I act like I do, but that BNI serves its purpose. There's one person per specialty in there, and some of the groups have 15 members, and some of them have 60 members, and that's great. And you meet once a week, and you have certain obligations. You have a large degree of expense, and for the benefit, some people benefit greatly. I had a very good friend that owned a sign company, and he was a big member of BNI. And he told me one time, even though he was a member of the chamber as well, and a big member of the chamber, sponsored many events and so forth, but he told me that a very large portion of his business came from his BNI. And as a sign company, it's pretty good for him because his per job costs were pretty high. So he had a great deal of respect for networking type groups like BNI. But from my side, the Chamber of Commerce is where to go. The basic idea here is to start meeting people. That's where the attention comes in. That's the A in AIDA. Every business owner is a potential client. You guys know that. But all of them aren't going to buy from you, are they? All of them aren't particularly needing your particular services, but it doesn't matter because they know people who do. Now that's where the giant plus comes in. But you don't want to start selling them right away. When you meet people, don't start selling them. That's not the way it works. Not if you want them to actually listen to you and pay attention to you. So back off on the sales pitch. Just be there, listen, ask questions, listen. That's where you're going to break in. That's where you're going to start gaining your trust. That's where you're going to start gaining your confidence. And it's not going to be long before they're going to learn what you do. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have to tell them what you do, but just don't start in on a big sales pitch. It's just counterproductive, entirely counterproductive. Right now, you just want to start meeting people. It's a great way to get the word out about your services because you are going to chat with them about a little bit about what you do and build these face-to-face relationships in order to get attention on you. Now, it's not all about you. I already said that, right? You're not going out there and just start selling people. It's not all about you. It's about these folks that you meet. Relationship is the key word. You're not a human sales machine. You're a human connecting with other humans. Wow, I wish I had any way to stake that in the ground and put the sign in every yard of every office or a home office or regular office that all of you have out there and just say, you are not a human sales machine. That's not what you're all about. Face to face, side by side, this is the true power in this mindset of gaining attention. Now, the second A to I is now gaining their interest. That can be done in a lot of ways. You've gotten to know some people, you've chatted with them, you've kind of let them know what you do and so forth. And there are a few ways that you can easily move into gaining their interest and their more of their attention, which we'll go more into in a minute. But this is the magic ingredient. You need to get a strong start, the interest level. So nothing creates more interest than offering free services that will benefit potential clients' business. About free services, we're not talking about giving away the farm. We're not talking about giving away a website. We're not talking about those kind of things, because there are a number of ways you can get your customers value without spending a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of money to gain their interest and to give away something I call, well, free services. Value, giving away value before you expect a return in the dollar. You can, for example, you can host a marketing seminar to chamber members. It's free for them. Not all of you we've talked about this before in other of our training sessions. And sometimes we say, well, we'll do a meetup. Well, okay, yeah, I guess you could do a meetup, but you have a whole lot more people available that would have an interest in meeting with you to talk about marketing out of the chamber than you will out of almost any other type of meetup group situation you could ever devise. And with the backing of the chamber, if you go in and actually tell them, here's what I'd like to accomplish. I'd like to go over some of the basic details that I know will help these members and these member businesses bring in more traffic, get more attention for themselves, and grow their profits. If I can show them a few tidbits, a few hints on how they might be able to do it, maybe be able to do it for themselves, even, for goodness sakes. So at each of these chamber marketing events, and by the way, I'll back up a minute. I'll guarantee you, it is not that hard to get a chamber to allow you to get involved in this, because after all, one of their major purposes is to help their members grow their businesses. And if they know that you're sincere and they know that you're there not to just give a bunch of sales pitches every time you do a meeting, but you're there to actually teach them about certain aspects that they can use for themselves, then they're going to go, yeah, we like that. That's what we want to do. That's what we do as a chamber. And the people who love your advice you're going to give. And the most important and the most enjoyable part of this is they're probably going to most likely need your help in implementing some of the things you're going to show. And that's kind of the point, isn't it? We're going to show them how to do certain aspects of marketing, and they go, my goodness, I don't think I can do that, and I sure don't have time, but maybe we can talk about it. So you're offer your advice, your assistance, a way to build up the relationship, of course, with the people and bring them value. Therein lies, of course, a big part of the truth. You're giving value, again, repeating myself, before you expect any dollars back in your pocket. And everything you do that makes your potential client's life easier gets you a little bit closer to closing a deal and gaining a customer. Now, you may, as an example, you may teach the value of email marketing. And it's still strong for local business, has a lot of merit for local businesses. I know some great shop owners, dress shop owners, florist shops that send out on a regular basis, send out emails. Oftentimes they'll send out emails about a special they've got coming up, or especially if you're coming around to the seasonal type situation, they're going to send out some special flyers via email. And putting in their flyers, we teach them how to put into their flyers calls to action. Maybe teach them how to do coupons within those emails. The various techniques that email marketing can bring to a local business. So that's what you want to teach them in these marketing events that you're doing for the chamber. Then you may even want to go ahead and teach them how to generate customer leads to their business. Lead generation is a big, big, big deal. That's what do they want more than anything else? They want more clients. They want more customers. They want more foot traffic. And when you start telling them how they can achieve that, you know, lead generation is done in many ways. All of you know that, that there are probably 8 different ways or more, I'm sure much more than that, that you can help them bring additional traffic into their location. And it might be Facebook, it might be Pinterest, or it might be Instagram, or it might be outside of social media. There are other ways, many other ways outside of social media that you can drive traffic through the door. Some, by the way, don't forget there's some of the old-fashioned ways too. It's called direct mail. You know, that's still a powerful tool. Just oh goodness, just as the fall started in, a local nursery that I actually did some work for last summer. We did a 3-month contract that I worked with them in bringing in additional uh, business, not only their Facebook site, but business through the door. And I'll tell you just a little brief story. Uh, I got a card from them. I'll finish this story first. I got a card from them in the mail, and it was about the mums that they had for the fall season. Beautiful postcard, well done. Gave a certain date that they were going to have a mum special day, and it was nicely done. When I went to do the work for this particular nursery, I knew that a very large nursery specialty type shop, a garden center, had recently closed in the area. Had been around for 20 years or more, and due to the fact that the land that it was built on 20 years ago was becoming very valuable, and the nursery was owned by a family, only 2 of which actually worked in the nursery. It became a family squabble on which was more important, the nursery or the land, and of course the land won out. So they closed it down. And that was about 8 months before I started working with this nursery. And of course, knowing that that had happened, one of the things I suggested was pretty straightforward. I said, I'll tell you what I can do for you. I'll get in touch with the owners of that garden center, and they've been around for 20 years. I said, I'll bet you they have a pretty large list, a large database of people that have shopped there for years. You're only about 10 miles away. Don't you think maybe that if we could get that database and market just to those people, it would be beneficial? Well, after a few weeks' work and certainly some negotiation, I was able to get the owners of that garden center, which had closed, to actually sell that database for a very reasonable price to this particular nursery. They more than quintupled their database, and we had a special day just for the people from that old garden center, and that has grown their business. I know it's just at least doubled their business since last summer. So those are some of the special things and some of the little tricks that you can come up with to help local businesses. But that came through a relationship. I had a relationship with them long before by going there, because I happen to enjoy plants, happen to enjoy gardening too. But I had a relationship with them long before I signed them up for a 90-day marketing contract. So just a little story on the side, thought might be of interest to you guys. So let's move on now. Once the people see the value in your strategies, they're going to want to know more. Now, that's our point, isn't it? They're going to want to know more about email marketing. They're going to want to know more about lead generation. They're going to want to know more about having a decent website. They're going to want to know more about a lot of things that you're going to talk about in that chamber marketing event that you give on a regular basis, backed and supported by your local Chamber of Commerce. So the A and the I, now we're to the D, the desire. How do we build a desire in the people to want to buy and purchase your services? I think that we can go to pretty straightforwardly. We've already talked about how you get their attention. We've already talked about how you gain their interest. And now the desire, it actually comes as a fairly smooth flow into those 3 points. When you prove you know what you're talking about, and you let them know that these are the things you offer in your digital marketing business, the shift in attention is going to be pretty apparent. From a maybe or a no to a yes, yeah, absolutely. You're not going to hit them all, but I guarantee you, if you show yourself as the authority and you show yourself as one having the knowledge in within that chamber organization, and even people don't come to your marketing event series, then they're still going to know about it. They're still going to hear about it. They're going to have people are going to mention it, and they may even say, "Well, yeah, here's what I learned the other day," and they'll say something to a fellow business person that they're out with, and guess whose name's going to come up? Yours. That's whose name's going to come up. They will want you to have. They will want what you have to offer because you are literally offering them an easier way to make money through an increase in their customers. Now, by giving away something free, then when I'm back up just a moment, by giving away something free, I mean, start with some introductory services. Um, Maybe you want to give them a free survey on the keywords that they use to put into their marketing. Maybe you want to do a website survey. Let's see if they actually are drawing the traffic properly. Why not do maybe just a look-see, call it a survey. You don't have to do a lot of work on it. Call it a survey on their Google My Business page, which is becoming more and more important to all local businesses. And if you give away those surveys and those overviews for free, then you can sit down with them and just explain not only what they're missing, but why it's important. And they're getting it for free. They're going to listen to you. They're gonna say, sure, come on by. I know that you've taken a look at it, so come on by and let's chat about it. Then we're going to the action phase. We've got their attention, we've got their interest, we've built their desire, and we're giving away a few things for free. Now it's time to go into action. So you've been building relationships, you have succeeded in gaining interest and desire. Now, as I mentioned, you can offer an entry-level product, the GMB, the survey, whatever that you think might catch their attention. Because remember, by this time, you should have already sat down and just at least had an overview chit chat with all of these folks. And that's just talking, not selling. That's just plain talking. That's such a strong way to get yourself in with someone else. Sit down, make sure you know what they need before you go barreling in and offering them some sort of shiny object, because it's not the shiny object that they're interested in. It's what you can do for them, what services you can provide that will truly help them grow their business. So, you know these people, you've been with them, you know their business, not sure what they need. And if they don't know what they need, then it's your job as the expert to guide them. Don't. I used to tell the people that they should never settle for random acts of marketing. Now, think about that for a second. Random acts of marketing. That means they listen to the next guy that walks in the door, and they may do buy an ad in a flyer, and then they may put an ad in the newspaper, and then the radio guy comes and they say, well, yeah, we could take on some radio ads for $2,500 or whatever the case might be. Those are random acts of marketing. There's no strategy. There's no plan. Your job in marketing is to establish a marketing plan. Keep them away from random acts of marketing. Remember, you're in the relationship business, and you want to build this relationship through trust and performance, true professional performance. So that's the AIDA: attention, interest, desire, action, all of which is easily done. Virtually all of it is done for free. Your advertising is yourself. You are the ad. You are the person, the persona, the logo, your actions, your presence, your being in front of these people, you are your own advertising. Don't ever, ever forget that for your business. So sell without selling, yeah, you sure can. And it's a sure path to a successful agency. I really appreciate all of you being here today. I am at a huge disadvantage because I cannot see a soul, or hear a soul. I know that ones are on here. And if you would like to throw something in the chat, I'd love to answer a question because it feels pretty lonesome here not hearing a word from anybody. So if you got a question, throw it in the chat box and I'll be happy to answer it, guys. Or those of you that are on Facebook Live, and I appreciate it. We've got Stan here and Timothy here, Hilton here, Brian's on. Yvonne, thanks for being on today. Sherry's here, Darcy's here, Donna's here. We've got a lot of folks on Facebook Live here. I appreciate that very, very much. But anybody who'd like to ask a question on anything we've covered, then I certainly encourage you to do so. Otherwise, my deaf ears will close it down for today's session. Any questions from anybody? Okay, all right. Thanks, Sherry. Sherry says great info, Chris. I appreciate that, Sherry. And Bob, thanks for joining. I don't know how busy you are these days. Thanks very much for being on. And all of you that are here, Judith and Bob, on our Zoom side, Patrick, I appreciate you folks being on here as well. So for now, all that being said, appreciate you putting up with my frailties today, and we hope this was of help. Everybody have a great afternoon. I'll chat with you next time. Don't forget, Saturday, we have the podcast with our host, Judith Awesome, at 10 a.m. I'll see all of you next week here at 3 o'clock Wednesday. Bye-bye, folks. Have a great day.